the laughingstock of the galaxy. The USS Junkyard drifted into Sigma Station's docking bay like a drunk sailor stumbling home after shore leave. Every alien species present stopped what they were doing to stare at the monstrosity that humanity called a warship. The vessel looked like someone had welded together pieces from 1,000 different ships, painted it with whatever colors were on sale that week, and then let a committee of blind engineers add weapons wherever they felt like it. Captain Sarah, Chen stood proudly on the bridge of her ship, watching the horrified expressions of the station's inhabitants through the viewscreen. She had seen this reaction dozens of times before. The junkyard was 400 meters of pure chaos. Its hull was a patchwork of different metals, some rusted, some gleaming, some covered in what appeared to be duct tape. Sensor arrays jutted out at random angles. Weapon ports were scattered across the surface with no apparent logic or pattern. One section of the ship was painted bright pink. Another was covered in what looked like graffiti, and the bow featured a massive sculpture of a human middle finger that someone had welded on as a joke 3 years ago and nobody had bothered to remove. The Krellin delegation waiting at the dock looked physically ill. Ambassador Zektar, a 7-foot-tall insectoid with pristine chrome exoskeleton, chittered in disgust as the human vessel completed its docking procedure. The Krellin Empire was known throughout the galaxy for their sleek, efficient warships that looked like deadly silver needles cutting through space. They valued precision, order, and aesthetic perfection in all things. The human ship was an insult to everything they stood for. Chen adjusted her uniform, which was technically regulation, but had been modified with patches, pins, and a leather jacket that definitely wasn't standard issue. Her crew was similarly eclectic. Her first officer, Marcus Rodriguez, was a former street racer from Mars who had joined the fleet because, in his words, spaceships are just cars that go up. Her chief engineer, Yuki Tanaka, was a mad genius who had been kicked out of 3 different universities for unauthorized improvements to their facilities. Her weapons officer, James MacArthur, was a Scottish farmer who had accidentally shot down a pirate vessel with a mining laser and figured he might as well make a career out of it. As they descended the ramp to meet the Krellin delegation, Chen could hear the whispers and laughter from other species in the docking bay. A group of Vorthan traders pointed and made what she assumed were jokes in their crystalline language. Some Zalathi pilots were taking pictures, probably to share with their squad mates as comedy material. Even the normally polite Etherian ambassadors were politely covering what passed for their mouths, their bioluminescent skin pulsing in patterns that indicated amusement. Ambassador Zektar's compound eyes fixed on Chen with barely concealed disdain. His translator buzzed to life. "Captain Chen of the Junkyard." He said the name like it physically hurt him. "I must protest this insult. The Krellin Empire agreed to these negotiations in good faith, and you arrive in this thing." Chen smiled brightly. "She might not look like much, Ambassador, but the Junkyard is fully combat-ready and certified by Earth Fleet Command. We're here for the trade negotiations as scheduled." "This is a joke." Zektar clicked his mandibles. "Your species seeks to join the Galactic Trade Consortium, yet you present yourselves in this salvage heap. Look at it. Half the hull plates don't even match. Is that section held together with adhesive strips?" "That's military-grade duct tape, actually," Yuki chimed in proudly. "My own special formula. Stronger than most hull welds and can be applied in seconds during combat." The Krellin ambassador's antennae twitched in disgust. "Combat? This vessel wouldn't last 5 seconds against a proper warship. Our scouts report you've welded civilian cargo containers to the hull. There are what appear to be residential air conditioning units attached to your weapon systems. Your main gun is..." "What even is that?" Marcus stepped forward with a grin. "Oh, that's Martha. She's a repurposed mining drill crossed with a particle accelerator we bought from a Zalathi scrapyard. Want to see what she can do?" "Absolutely not." Zektar stepped back. "This is precisely why humanity is not ready for membership in the consortium. You are chaos incarnate. You have no respect for proper military doctrine, no appreciation for aesthetics, and your technology is a dangerous collection of improvised nonsense." Chen's smile never wavered, but her eyes hardened slightly. "Ambassador, Earth has met all the technical requirements for membership. Our GDP exceeds the threshold. We have successful trade agreements with 15 member species, and we've contributed significant scientific advances to the galactic community. Technical requirements, Zektar scoffed. The consortium is more than numbers on a data pad. It's about civilization, order, and respect for established norms. Your species builds ships like children playing with blocks. You name your weapons. Your crew looks like they raided a costume shop. How can we trust you with serious trade routes when you can't even build a proper warship? The crowd in the docking bay had grown larger, various species gathering to watch the confrontation. Many were recording with their respective devices, and Chen knew this would be all over the galactic net within hours. Humanity would once again be the laughingstock of civilized space. "I'll make you a deal, Ambassador," Chen said suddenly. "Give us a chance to prove ourselves. Any test you want. If we fail, Earth will withdraw its application for membership." Zektar's compound eyes glittered with interest. The crowd murmured excitedly. "Any test?" "Within reason. We're not going to blow up a star or anything." The Krellin ambassador considered this. "Very well. The Krellin Empire has been dealing with pirates in the Nexus Gate sector. They've taken one of our mining stations hostage. Our fleet is 2 days away. If your ship can resolve the situation before they arrive, we will support Earth's membership bid." MacArthur whistled low. "The Nexus Gate pirates? Those are the Black Scar Brotherhood. They've got at least 12 heavy fighters and a stolen Krellin destroyer." "Precisely." Zektar clicked in what might have been amusement. "Surely such a superior human warship can handle a simple pirate problem?" Chen didn't hesitate. "Send us the coordinates. We'll have your station back within 6 hours." The laughter from the crowd was almost deafening as the human crew returned to their ship. The odds were being calculated on betting terminals throughout the station. Nobody was betting on the humans. As the junkyard departed, Zektar turned to his aide. "Send word to the fleet to retrieve the humans' wreckage after the pirates destroy them. We'll return it to Earth as a reminder of what happens when children try to play with adults." The journey to the Nexus Gate took 3 hours. The crew of the junkyard spent the time in preparation, though anyone watching would have thought they were having a party. Music blasted through the corridors, a mixture of Earth classics, Martian, jazz, and something Yuki called experimental fusion. Marcus was teaching the navigation team a card game he'd invented that seemed to have no fixed rules. MacArthur was in the weapons bay, having what appeared to be a conversation with Martha, the main gun. Chen stood on the bridge, studying the tactical display. The Black Scar Brotherhood had positioned themselves well. The mining station was at the center of their formation, shields down, with the stolen destroyer and fighters arranged in a defensive sphere. It was a solid tactical position that would be difficult for even a modern warship to crack. "Captain," her communications officer Pavel Volkov called out, "I'm picking up transmissions from the pirate fleet. They're laughing at us, ma'am." "Put it on speakers." The bridge filled with harsh alien laughter and translated insults. "Look at this thing," one pirate wheezed. "Did they build it from garbage? I've seen escape pods with better weapons. Is that pink section supposed to be camouflage? For what? A nursery?" Chen let them laugh. She'd learned long ago that being underestimated was humanity's greatest advantage. While other species had developed along predictable paths, achieving spaceflight through careful calculation and methodical advancement, humans had basically strapped themselves to controlled explosions and hoped for the best. They'd made it to space through equal parts brilliance and insanity, and their ships reflected that. "Yuki, are the surprises ready?" "All set, Captain. They won't know what hit them." "Marcus, plot an approach vector that makes us look like we're drunk." "That's my specialty, Cap." "MacArthur, warm up Martha and the party favors." "Aye." She's purring, like a kitten that's about to eat a whole flock of canaries. The junkyard lurched forward, its approach so erratic that the pirates initially thought something was wrong with their sensors. The ship wobbled, spun, and at one point seemed to fly backwards for several seconds. The pirates' laughter increased. "Attention, human vessel." The pirate commander's voice crackled over the comm. "Surrender now and we might let you live as entertainment. That ship is the funniest thing we've seen in cycles." "Counteroffer," Chen replied. "You surrender and we won't embarrass you in front of the entire galaxy." The pirates' response was to open fire, Dozens of energy beams and missiles streaked toward the junkyard. "Now," Chen ordered. What happened next would be talked about in bars, military academies, and documentary films for decades to come. The junkyard didn't dodge. Instead, every single piece of its chaotic hull suddenly made sense. The last laugh, the missiles and energy beams struck the junkyard's hull and disappeared. Not exploded, not deflected. They simply vanished into what the pirates suddenly realized were carefully disguised absorption panels. The random placement of hull plates had created a complex network of energy sinks and redirectors. The pink section that everyone mocked began to glow as it converted the incoming fire into power. "Return to sender," Chen commanded. The cargo containers welded to the junkyard's hull burst open, revealing missile pods that launched a devastating counterattack using the pirates' own energy against them. The residential air conditioning units turned out to be heat sinks for a massive laser array that carved through two fighters before they could react. And Martha, the ugly main gun that looked like a junkyard special, spoke with a voice that shattered shields and hulls alike. The stolen Krellin destroyer tried to maneuver, but the junkyard's erratic flying pattern suddenly shifted into a precise attack run. Every wobble and spin had been calculated to put them in the perfect position. MacArthur fired Martha, and a beam of impossible energy, part mining laser, part particle accelerator, part something that Yuki had invented while drunk, punched through the destroyer's shields like they were tissue paper. "Attention, pirate. Vessels," Chen broadcasted. "That was your only warning shot. The next one won't miss your reactor." The pirates weren't laughing anymore. Half their fighters were disabled or destroyed, and their destroyer was venting atmosphere from a hole that went clean through the ship. The junkyard hung in space, still looking like a flying scrap heap, but now everyone could see the danger lurking beneath the chaos. "How?" the pirate commander gasped. "Your ship is garbage." "One person's garbage is another person's tactical advantage," Chen replied. "Surrender, or we'll show you what else our junk can do." The remaining pirates surrendered immediately. Within an hour, the mining station was secure and the pirates were in custody. The junkyard had accomplished in 4 hours what the Krellin Empire had said would be impossible for any single ship. The journey back to Sigma Station was very different from their departure. Word had already spread through the galactic net. Videos of the battle were being analyzed and reanalyzed. The betting terminal showed astronomical losses for those who had bet against the humans. When the junkyard docked, the crowd was silent. Ambassador Zektar stood at the same spot, but his posture was entirely different. His compound eyes studied the human ship with new understanding. "The chaos is deliberate," he said, as Chen approached. "Every piece of that ship is designed to look worthless while serving a specific purpose. Humanity's greatest strength, Ambassador, is that we're unpredictable. We don't follow the rules because we never learned them properly in the first place. We got to space by sitting on barely controlled explosions. We solved faster than light travel because someone spilled coffee on the equations and liked what they saw. And yes, we build ugly ships that nobody takes seriously until it's too late." Zektar was quiet for a moment. "The mining station reports no casualties. The pirates are all alive, even those whose ships were destroyed." "How?" "Our weapons are designed to disable, not destroy. Martha can punch through a hull or just tickle the shields, depending on the setting. The missile pods can deliver EMPs or explosives. Every system on that ugly ship is adaptable, unpredictable, and effective. You could have built a traditional warship. Your technology is clearly advanced enough." Chen smiled. "But then you would have seen us coming. The junkyard works because nobody expects a ship held together with duct tape and hope to be dangerous. It's the same reason humans are so successful despite being newcomers to the galactic stage. Everyone underestimates us." The Vorthan delegation that had been observing stepped forward. Their crystalline forms chimed in harmony. "Captain Chen, the Vorthan Alliance would like to discuss a defense contract with Earth. We are intrigued by your unconventional approaches." More delegations began approaching. The Zelathi wanted to know about the engine modifications that allowed such erratic flight patterns. The Etherians were fascinated by the energy absorption technology. Even some Krellin engineers were eyeing the duct tape with professional interest. The Krellin Empire formally supports Earth's membership in the Galactic Trade Consortium, Zektar announced. And we would like to discuss the possibility of joint military exercises to better understand your unique tactics. Over the next weeks, the junkyard became the most studied vessel in known space. Military academies requested detailed schematics, only to discover that half the ship's systems were improvised and couldn't be properly documented. Yuki's explanations included phrases like, "I had a feeling and it looked cooler this way," which drove the academics insane. Marcus started a racing league for ugly ships, which became surprisingly popular. MacArthur's conversations with Martha were analyzed by xenopsychologists who couldn't understand how talking to an inanimate weapon could improve its performance by 30%. Pavel discovered that playing Earth music during battles actually interfered with most species' targeting systems, turning humanity's love of loud music into a tactical advantage. 3 months later, Earth was not only accepted into the consortium, but was asked to head the newly formed Unconventional Warfare Division. Other species began experimenting with chaos theory in their ship designs, though none could quite match the human talent for controlled insanity. The junkyard received upgrades, but Chen insisted on keeping the aesthetic. They added more duct tape, painted another section in neon green, and Yuki welded a disco ball to the bridge that doubled as a sensor array. The middle finger sculpture on the bow was gilded and officially designated as a diplomatic communication device. A year later, when the hegemony war began and traditional fleets were being decimated by the enemy's advanced prediction algorithms, it was the human chaos fleet that turned the tide. Ships like the USS Dumpster Fire, the USS Hot Mess, and the USS Trainwreck confused the enemy's computers so badly that they actually started smoking. The hegemony's final transmission before surrendering was simply, "We cannot comprehend. Please, make it stop." Ambassador Zektar, now a friend and frequent visitor to Earth, stood with Chen on the observation deck of the new Sigma station, watching the human fleet prepare for a ceremonial flyby. Each ship was uglier than the last, a magnificent display of humanity's refusal to conform. "I owe you an apology," Zektar said. "When we first met, I called your species chaos incarnate. No apology needed. You were right. Yes, but I meant it as an insult. Now I understand it's your greatest compliment." He paused, watching the USS Mistake Barrel roll for no apparent reason. "Though I still don't understand the duct tape," Chen laughed. "Some things about humanity are better left as mysteries, Ambassador." The junkyard flew past, its patchwork hull gleaming in the starlight, the pink section glowing softly, the middle finger sculpture proudly pointing forward into the unknown. It was still the ugliest ship in the galaxy, and that's exactly how humanity liked it. In the end, the galaxy learned an important lesson. Never judge a book by its cover, especially when that book is held together with duct tape and powered by controlled chaos. Humanity had arrived on the galactic stage not with grace or dignity, but with style, their own completely incomprehensible, utterly effective, beautifully ugly style. The golden age of ugly ships had begun, and the galaxy would never be the same.